What is up, guys? Delboy here. So Luis Ortiz defeats Christian Hamer by a 10-round unanimous decision in a fight that was much better than I expected, I've got to be honest. But was Luis Ortiz impressive to me? Did Luis Ortiz put in a performance that makes me want to see him fight the elite level heavyweights? Not really, I've got to be honest. To me, Luis Ortiz looked very vulnerable against Christian Hamer, and that doesn't fill me with confidence going forwards, I've got to be honest. Ortiz isn't getting any younger, he's 40 years old, he doesn't keep himself in the best of shape, and to me the same flaws still persist, you know. Stamina isn't great, has a real problem with avoiding that right hand, which I've mentioned in the past. I mentioned it before the Wilder fight, gets knocked out by a right hand. Christian Hamer was managing to tag Ortiz with several right hands. He bloodied Ortiz's nose and had, you know, a fair bit of success with that shot. And yeah, to me, don't get me wrong, Ortiz is a good fighter. He's not a scrub, he's top 10 in the weight class, but I don't really get why people hold him in such high regard, especially in 2019. Boxing is a what have you done for me lately type of sport. And the fact of the matter is, Luis Ortiz hasn't really done anything of any note for quite some time. Let's be honest about it. I mean, his last good performance in a high-profile fight was against Bryant Jennings, and that was in 2015. And, you know, some people out there said this guy was the second best heavyweight in the world. I just don't know what they're basing it on. It's certainly not quality of wins. You know, they'll say, oh, it's the eye test. The eye test? Well, get some new eyes because, I mean, look at the two fights before Wilder. Look at the Malik Scott fight. Terrible. He looked pretty poor in the Dave Allen fight. He looked poor in the Christian Hamer fight. He looked poor in the Travis Kaufman fight. You know, Ortiz has looked lackluster in several fights and against lesser competition. It's only really the Jennings win that stands out. There's nothing else there. The Tony Thompson performance was fairly decent, but Tony Thompson at that stage was done. So, I mean, yeah, apart from the win over Jennings and a good losing performance against Wilder, what has Ortiz done to deserve the amount of hype he gets? I just don't get it, and I've said this a few times on Twitter, you know, I don't get the fascination with Luis Ortiz. To me, he's not even a top 5 heavyweight anymore. I would certainly rate Wilder, Joshua and Fury above him. I would rate Dillian Whyte above him. And I would also rate Povetkin above him. To me, I'm not bothered about seeing Ortiz get a title shot anytime soon, because I don't think Ortiz has a hope in hell of beating Joshua or Wilder in a rematch. I don't think he has a chance. I think he's just getting worse now. He's 40 years old. He's slowing down with each fight. And, you know, the way he was eating right hands against Hamer, he would get knocked out by Joshua or Wilder. And I don't care to see him in either fight at this stage. I know some people out there might think I'm being harsh, but I'm just a bit sick of the hype, to be quite honest. You know, I've seen this guy's fights. I've seen his career unfold. It's not going to get any better. He's not beating a Joshua. He's not beating a Wilder. He's not beating a Fury. I don't get why this guy's still being pushed, to be quite honest. In an ideal world, what should happen, Ortiz and Povetkin should fight in a loser leaves town type fight. I would love that. I personally believe Povetkin would end Luis Ortiz. I think he'd knock him out, but, you know, that fight's not going to happen. Povetkin is going to fight Usyk by the looks of things. Where does Ortiz go? I mean, I don't know, to be honest. Maybe Ortiz versus Kaunaki. I think that would be a good fight. It would be a good test for Kaunaki. And if Ortiz were to beat somebody like Kaunaki, then at least he can say, do you know what, I've beaten a young contender. Now I'm relevant again. Now I deserve a big fight. If Ortiz were to beat somebody like Kaunaki, I'd give him credit. But right now, all he's doing is treading water, and he's not looking good doing it. So I'm not interested right now. I'm not interested, and I want to see something special from Luis Ortiz ASAP. How do you feel about Luis Ortiz? How did you see the Ortiz versus Hamer fight? Share your thoughts below. Peace.